How is the trend toward consolidation impacting managed market strategies?
It just means that every conversation is more important, more critical. There's fewer and fewer chances for you to tell your story, and every time you do tell your story to one of these mega payers, it impacts more and more people. You don't get multiple chances to tell your story the first time about your value, and so it's critical to have your story ready to go every time you engage with one of those payers.
At GSW, we like to put together the payer strategists and the creatives. Rather than it creating a thunderstorm when right brain and left brain get together, what it does is allows us to reimagine the story so that we can tell it to payers in a fresh way, in a more meaningful way.
How can pharma demonstrate its value to the public?
Today, the entry into access is much different, and you have to really define value the way that payers want to understand how it's going to help their membership, their plan. So it takes the endpoints of a clinical trial beyond just what you used to have to study. You have to look at HEOR data, potential RWE outcomes that they can look at from a measurement standpoint. Really, it's an era of value justification and not just what clinically it can provide.
It's not enough to just roll out a product and make it a transactional kind of conversation. It's now got to be a relationship. It's got to be collaborative. They need to understand that payers only have so much money and they're trying to take care of a lot of people. And so how does this fit in to what they're trying to do, and how can it help them take care of more people better than they could before this product came to market?
When looking to reach payers, what kind of communication is most effective?
There's three things that we primarily look at when we're developing a story or a value proposition for one of our clients. The first thing we have to do is we have to make it simple. There's a lot of complexities to each of these molecules that come to market, and each disease state has its own complexities, and the marketplace that it exists in has its own complexities. But the second thing is we have to reach them where they are. For example, spend almost the majority of their time online or on their workstation with their laptops up or their computers up. We have to engage them in those environments, and not just the 80-page slide deck or PowerPoint presentation that you leave behind. But the most important thing is it has to be tailored to what their membership needs and how that product is going to help them manage that population better, and really how they can understand that the product's going to help their member population.
There's so many different kind of payers that we have to keep in mind. What a commercial insurance plan looks at versus an integrated network versus a hospital. They're all different, they all have nuances, and we have to provide them information that's going to be applicable to their audience and to how they're evaluating information versus lumping it even as one big payer group.
In this changing landscape, what role does formulary placement have on HCP perceptions?
So really, the access perception that an HCP has is truly just based on their experiences. The problem is one negative experience can impact that perception for a very long time. And ultimately, it's a critical story to tell. There's really two that we talk about at GSW that we feel like you have to get right from a managed market standpoint. The first one is gaining that access. We've been talking a lot about that with payers. But the second one that's almost as critical is optimizing or achieving the access that you've gained. Ultimately, that can be the difference between defending access later on down the road as well. So the most critical thing to get right when you're talking about HCP perceptions is articulating what is that patient going to experience when they're at the pharmacy counter, or when that specialty pharmacy customer service person calls them. What are they going to experience? Are they going to experience sticker shock? Are they going to walk away from that product and not fill it? Or are they going to be accepting of that price point that has been negotiated? And ultimately, if you can help articulate to the HCP what they should expect, that gives you a better chance for success.
One of the primary ways that we found to clear up the HCP misperceptions is with a well-informed set of reps. If they can understand and come in and troubleshoot where the misperceptions are happening, maybe it's the difference between commercial or Medicare coverage. Maybe it's a high deductible plan that means that early in the year somebody's paying a lot more than they would later in the year. But if the reps can help the office staff kind of troubleshoot that, then they can move beyond the money and they can have clinical conversations and really help remind them about the value of the product they're representing.
And that's critical to understand because every product is different in their life cycle or in their HCP perceptions, if you will. We've had a lot of experience changing those perceptions, but it all starts with understanding where it is in its life cycle and where it is with the HCP perceptions, and then attacking that with the right messaging.